Oh boy. Well, I'm I'm fascinated by warfare. I don't know why. I really don't. Ever since I was a very young kid, I I I was horrified by how what people could do to people. When I was really young, the war footage that you saw was basically these emaciated bodies being stacked on top of one another from the death camps. That was it was there was that's what there was because that's when all the movie guys and the photographers moved in. It was horrifying, and I thought, how can people do that? And so I had to find a reason why. Why did that happen? And so my entire life I've been a student of war, and not just where do what is the best way to deploy your forces? What technology do you want to use to counter this technology, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The book is this thick. But the real why, it always comes down to very few things. Okay? Resources. This is why Japan went the route it did, because it's a fucking island, okay? Bamboo, rice, and great seafood. Not not much oil. Uranium, titanium, iron, oil, no oil. See, that was a war of material, and some of the Japanese, they knew, and they thought, this is not a good idea. It's not a good idea. But the those minds do not get listened to in the heat of battle. And the other is power. And by power, I mean petrochemical and rare metals. That's what I mean by power. Not, once you get on that scale, saying kill this person because of this, that's nothing. Okay, I'm talking about controlling countries, controlling their economies. And then there's the fucking guy, Stalin, Hitler, Putin, Un. Okay? Pinochet. They're all corrupt because you see, someone that wants to lead a country, the weakness of the human animal is almost unbearable. Almost unbearable. The human ego, it goes out of fucking control. Okay, it happens to the leaders of the world, including the billionaires, the ultra billionaires, right? The one guy that started off the whole fucked up billionaire thing, Bill Gates, okay, he's trying to slide into the background and not be. Okay, and then there's the other guys who can't wait to be right there and have everyone in the world hear everything they're saying, okay? That is a person to beware, because that's human frailty in charge of millions of lives and destinies. Fuck. And it's not just war, financial. When Musk says something about, we won't say the name, boom, the price goes through the fucking roof. It's manipulated. It's not cool, okay? the cultish behavior of these things. And see, like Putin now, you see he's at the end, like Gaddafi. He's at the end, and he knows he's at the end, regardless if he's ill or anything else that the ethersphere is saying. He's at the end game, and he knows it because, you see, he was only in power. He's not the man. Putin is not the fucking man. Un is the man. Okay, but Putin is not the fucking man. He is propped up by everybody that he made deals with. Okay, you get this, I get this. We're all happy. You keep me in power. You control this. You control this. It was all just a big fucking circle jerk. Right? You know that. Don't you agree? The personality war, the egotistical war, the maniacal war, those are always the worst. There's zero justification for it. It's always just violence. For violence sake, for greed. Okay, like Saddam Hussein, he was fucking broke. He was in debt up to here, and he figured, well, I'll just go down and take Kuwait, and America's not going to do anything. These other countries won't do anything. But see, the crazy guys, these fucking egomaniacs, they think everyone around them is so terrified of them, it's always, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Right? They rule through terror of, I'll just fucking drop you out a window. How many people have fallen out of windows around Putin? That's a disease around him, right? It's catching. Or just disappear now. Now they're just disappearing. They write, see you later, I'm going to go run away with Marion. Right? You see, the vast majority of the world, I truly believe this. The vast majority of the world, and I'm talking about the humans in the world, are kind, caring, generous, seeking happiness, safety for themselves and their family, so that tomorrow is a secure thing, and we can go and enjoy just living and being outside and being in one another's company. Then there's I'm going to go get on my fucking 500-foot yacht with 30 people tending to my every need, and that's how they enjoy their day. You have to be able to justify that as far as happiness goes. Who's truly happier? What is it that these maniacal people, everything has to be bigger than life, right? And I have often done the video that if there was even the slightest bit of intelligence, just the slightest bit of intelligence outside of the animal, these ultra fucking billionaires would know that if you truly want to be remembered, if you truly want people to listen to what you're saying, if you truly want to do the best and be who you claim to be, then you take 100 billion of your 200 billion and you turn it into real fucking money, and you give up ownership and control so that you can then take that $100 billion and build schools and hospitals and feed people, get people, fix our medical system. $100 billion of real fucking currency, I cannot tell you how powerful that would be in the economy. It would be unfucking believable. Everything from child mortality to suicide would immediately be better. But they don't do that. $100 billion, that you could build 500 new hospitals and then staff them for 1,000 years. You're rich enough to do pretty much any great humanitarian deed, but they don't do it. They buy the biggest yacht in the world. They buy the biggest social network in the world. They buy the biggest fucking conglomerate in the world. They don't do what a true, in my opinion, a healthy person would do with that kind of wealth. You don't fucking need it. You'll never be able to spend $1 billion, let alone 200. Look how many $500 million yachts can you fucking buy with $200 billion? I mean, it's absurd. It is a sickening feeling for me to understand that this is how the system has been set up and that it's out of control. And in truth, all war stems from that ideal. All of it. You see, if people were happy in Japan without having bigger military, more army, they wouldn't need all these raw materials to build up their military and their ships and their planes. And everyone could have just been happy. And the same thing with the United States, although we were fairly disarmed at the time. You see, the whole idea of beating your weapons into plowshares is that if the weapons aren't needed, then there's an overabundance of extra. But you see, the system is set up in a way where it doesn't function if that happens. They need conflict and strife. They need the destruction of basically a unified population. You see, I know people from other countries, and they're just like us. It's culture is what makes us different. We're all human beings. Our DNA is the same. It's just that there's something about the fucking animal in us, the animal. And the more power you get, the more wealth you get, or the more maniacal you get. The animal just takes over, and it's like an addiction where it's okay to hear, but now you need more. Because, well, what you were getting isn't quite enough. You need a little bit more of this now to get the same kind of rush. And the problem is that these things go on for years. And I've watched Elon Musk go from somebody that I thought was pretty good for the world to absolutely horrifyingly bad for the world. Bill Gates, the same way, okay? Berkshire Hathaway. Everybody has this weird idea about how capitalism should work because they say, well, there's any other form of existence is communist. You see, because the whole idea behind communism for me is the ideal of not needing a giant fucking boat. That's it in a nutshell. Real fucking simple for me to explain, okay? Communism for me is you don't need a $500 million fucking boat and to create that giant carbon footprint and to, you know what I mean? To employ people. Where those people never had to go to work. They had the food and the shelter and whatever else they needed to get around. Public transportation that actually went everywhere, not just on the ground, in the water, and in the air, okay, but free. You see, if billionaires weren't billionaires, where would all that fucking money go? Well, it would go into the population. We would have the moving sidewalks and maglev trains and all that shit, where you just go out and get in a pod, and the pod just takes you wherever you want to go. Gets up on the freeway and goes 800 miles an hour with all the other pods in a big vacuum tube. We would have all these technologies in place already. That's what people in the 30s thought we were where we would be in 2020. It's the thing that causes war is the exact same animal as the one that causes billionaires to not do the right thing. To not liquidate 90% of the wealth they don't need. Everything would still be fine. Nothing would change. Their businesses, their life, nothing would change. But they could take, 85% of that $200 billion and put it back into the economy and the health and the welfare of people. But none of them will do it, let alone all of them. If just one of them did it, it would make a major difference. What if 100 fucking billionaires dumped all of their assets into the public and said, here you go. Everybody, no one needs to pay for college anymore. As a matter of fact, we're going to build 10 more colleges in every state, and they'll be free. And it wouldn't fucking dent anything as far as the wealth that these obscene people have. Think about that. We're going to build 100 hospitals, okay, that are like the top notch. And we're going to put 2 in each state. And these are going to be like the best of the best of the best. And people are going to be going to school and going to college because they're going to want to be a part of that. People would want to be a part of people. You would have doctors. Rational, intelligent people would then go, okay, it's not a fucked up system. People aren't going to be paying $60 for an aspirin. I am going to actually become a doctor to help people. That's the result of taking that obscene wealth and turning it into useful wealth. You'd end up with a planet of smarter, happier, healthier people. Oh, it's communism. No, it's not. I'm not saying you can't have your fucking race car. I'm not. You should have your fucking race car. Absolutely. You see? You want your gun? You should absolutely have the right to have a gun. I'm not saying that that should be taken from you or that you shouldn't have access to it. Okay. But I'm going to make sure that if you have a gun, you are capable of owning one mentally. Absolutely. Because I don't want you around my friends or family with a gun if you can't prove that you're fucking capable of being sane. Okay? If we still have race cars and all that, everyone, of course, that's part of us. You know what I mean? The need for speed is part of us. But the atmosphere would be clean because other industries wouldn't be needed any longer. We could get rid of the dominating industries that destroy the planet and re-enjoin with industries that help the planet. In Star Trek, the whole point was no one had a job. And thus no war. The entire Earth was peaceful. One place, Earth. That's what they called it, Earth. Very, 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 almost never that I can remember, really, as a matter of fact. In the original Star Trek, I think there was a couple of times, but in the movies, I don't remember Picard or any of those guys talking about politics, that the Russians and the Chinese were going to go to war with Taiwan, or you know what I mean? Or there was a fucking oil embargo and there was going to, the United States was going to, right? None of that. None. That wasn't it's not looked at as communism. It's one of the most popular fucking sci-fi series ever. Okay. War. War, greed. War, power. War, ego. And it's an exponential ramping of the disease. As they gain more and more power, they want more and more power. As they get more and more fucking billions, they want more and more billions because it's not about the money. Well, it is about the fucking money for the everyday person. But for you, it's not about the money, so you can say it's not about the money. You're full of fucking shit. Of course it's about the money because all you have left is measuring your fucking dick with the next fucking billionaire. Whose boat is longer? It's ego. Those people left in charge of the world would drive us to our deaths rather quickly. Okay? It's really simple. The truth is so simple to understand that a system was put in place for the last 2,000 years to keep the little guy little. Go from as far back in history as you want, okay? As soon as people started settling down and organizing, there was that guy that said, oh, we need to build a temple to this fucking god because me and him are like this. Power, that's power. I'm not talking about money, we're talking about power. Look where that took the world. Look what religion did to the fucking world. And now you have economics doing the same thing instead of religion. Religion's taking a back seat now. Young people are leaving the church in droves because they understand what bullshit it is, and they're like me. God would never do that. God wouldn't never allow you to do that. If there was a God, He wouldn't let you do that. See? I don't know. Can you imagine? Just try to imagine. Tomorrow, all over the news is this billionaire has taken $100 billion of his stock, and he's sold it to blocks of people, all prearranged, so there's no market turmoil, okay? All prearranged. As a matter of fact, you'd probably have people fucking bidding for it, okay? And that money is going to do this. So we're building hundreds of new hospitals, all state-of-the-art, with state-of-the-art testing equipment. We're building hundreds of new college campuses, okay, that will be the envy of the world. And we'll still have billions of dollars left over. $1 billion would take care of the child care needs for all of the United States. One. And somebody has $200 billion. How obscene is that? It's horrifyingly bad. This is the problem with the world. This is the imbalance that is here. The imbalance between the animal and the spiritual human being. When the spiritual human being cannot find true spirituality in the universe, they turn to religion because they confuse the reality of their existence, okay, with what this guy's fucking saying over here from a book that anybody who cares to look would understand the history of that book, how it came about, why it came about, and that it's just full of metaphors for good living, and that's it. Humans are not capable right now of understanding. We are not mature enough mentally or spiritually to understand the who, what, when, where, and why the fucking God created this universe. I know that we're a plan of that. I know that consciousness, sentience is the only thing that matters in this universe. It's the only thing of any value whatsoever. This is what the universe is for. It's a machine that creates us, allows us to do this step. You see, without this step that we're doing right now, without me living this physical life that I'm living, this dimensional life I'm living, for some reason, I wouldn't be able to go to the next stage. Not where I went when I had my near-death experience. That was not dead. That was not death. What they showed me was that was a temporary place and that I could stay there as long as I wanted, but I couldn't have that. And that was heaven. That was God. Not religion. Not religion, not religion. That's a creation of man, and we're inferior fucking animals. People never did want to admit that. We never came from monkeys. Scopes trials. It's rational fucking human beings. No. Religious nut jobs. That's what it is. Religious people who understand that they can make that work to their advantage. That, again, war. War. That's war. It is. That's war. That is war. It's the same thing. It's power. See? It's not all, it's not, the worst evil comes in the guise of religion. I have a list, I've read it before, how many millions of people have been killed because religion said that this is how it's going to be, this is what you're going to do, this is how you're going to be. Power. War. You see, it's anti-spiritual. Everything about it, all of those, all of the things, the arms of, the causes of war, are all driven by the animal. Nothing spiritual whatsoever. Otherwise, these billionaires would be coming forward and going, "Wait, I'm going to be the first one to do it." That's what they would be doing if they're rational, thinking, caring, fucking spiritual beings. They couldn't wait to do that. They couldn't wait to be the first people to do that. Okay, I think I got it off my chest. I just have to talk about it. It's so tragically fucking bad. It is tragic. It is tragically bad. Really, it's the saddest thing that I know of. Really. Sometimes I'll just cry. I'll just cry. The fucking tears will start dripping, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, this is fucking depressing. It's all this, the love and the spirituality in my life, true spirituality. In other words, just helping others. Just helping others. That's all. Just helping others. You don't have to fucking save the world, because you probably don't have the means to save the world. Okay. But just being kind to others. That's it. If we were all kind to one another, the whole earth, the spirituality of the human being would change. It would be a monumentous moment in the history of the human being if we could all just care about one another for just one fucking day, every human being. You see, religion stops that, because, of course, religion is driven by culture. Of course it is. And it's only logical. And it's always our way or the highway. And I'm going to kill you. If you're not going to do it my way, then I have to kill you, kind of shit. And it's like, fuck. Yeah, that's God, right? You are insulting the God of this universe when you say that. War. It's fucking depressing. I'm studying what's going on right now in Russia and Ukraine, and I can see the slow deterioration of the Russian army for no reason at all. I see all the young Ukrainian guys, actually not just young ones either, because they're all lining up to go, dying for no fucking reason. Cities leveled, okay, old people, children fucking killed, and the murder that takes place for no fucking reason other than one guy. So, that has to be the worst of all of them. It has to be the worst reason for conflict, is the ego-driven war, the most evil of wars, the most cruelest of wars. And even that tomorrow morning, the billionaires of the world could tell Russia, okay, it's over. Pull your fucking troops back, or we're just not going to do business with you. You see, that's how it would work in the world. The end of the movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still, the original one with Michael Rene, okay? That was the whole point at the end, was that they gave themselves over to a race of robots who immediately attacked the aggressor. And to raise their ire was something to be absolutely feared. And that our earth, should we continue down our path, would be reduced to a burned out cinder. That's human thinking. You see, we understand we need to be policed, don't we? Because of the animal. It's not because of the spiritual great fucking guy who just wants to help everybody. No. It's because that motherfucker that has so much animal in them, okay? Male and female, animal control. That, they're the bane of mankind. The the species that are watching us now, they're not. We would already know. If they wanted to get rid of us, they could have gotten rid of us. They've been trying to help us, I believe, for quite a long time against our better fucking, shit we do. The backstabbing that we did when they tried to help us. That was one of the big things that came out of the 1970s. What was it? Lazar, 74? I can't, no. 84? No. Can't remember when the original one where he pulls up in his silver Corvette. That was one of the points, was that they tried to help us, and they gave us element 215, a bunch of it. And to this day, Bob Lazar's place has been raided for that shit. They've raided him a couple of times looking for the fucking missing. There is evidently some missing 215. And they're still looking for it, evidently. The beings that are watching us are horrified at what's happening. They're probably historians, scientists, bioengineers. I mean, everything that we would do, except once you attain the ability to manipulate matter, there is no need for there is no economy. There is no economy. You have to understand that. Once your planet dedicates itself to learning to control the smallest pieces of matter, not uncollapsed wave functions. I'm talking about collapsed wave functions that are actually particles now, and those can be controlled and manipulated on a vast scale with what we would consider a super quantum computer, you know what I mean, with trillions of qubits. And it can make anything you want. It can take this material, dirt, whatever, garbage, and it can turn it into this material, okay? Food, clothing, whatever you need to be happy. There is no need to have anything else. And that's why you don't hear the term, very billionaires in the original Star Treks and Star Trek movies just didn't exist. The most powerful people are really diplomats, not billionaires. They did creep in now and again in some of the other series. Yeah. You see, with all that missing wealth, the 99% of the wealth every single day that is sucked into a system by people that aren't going to do anything with it, okay, beneficial to the planet. It's only a negative, right? War. One of the main root causes of war. No way to stop it, as far as I can see. Right? I mean, see, and I don't like to say this. I really don't like to say this. I really hate saying this. And I used to say it a lot. 2015, 16, 17, 2015 and 2016 maybe. I started telling the truth, and people didn't like it. People didn't like it. It scared them. It really did. It fucking scares me because I'm going to have family living in the future. When I'm gone, I have loved ones that are going to continue on for a long time. And they're the ones I'm worried about. I understand what my generation did and the generation before that and before that and before that. There's no fucking rose-colored glasses over my eyes. I'm a fucking realist, okay? I'm very pragmatic. I'm sorry. I understand exactly what the causes of the ills of this world is. And it's not from people being kind to one another. That's not what hasn't caused any trouble. Only a fool doesn't understand why the world is the way it is. People always go, it's, just the way it's supposed to be, I guess, is that these people don't like these people. And when I say these people don't like these people, what I'm really referring to is this culture doesn't like this culture, okay? And you could just go on and on and on with that list about why people don't get along. Okay? And really, it's almost all culture. It's almost all culture. All cultures right now are fucking victims of capitalism and the way the system has been set up. All cultures are captive to this system. That's why we have problems getting along, because the fucking system wants us to not get along. They want the competition. For us to get off this train ride, we would need exceptional interference from the beings that are watching us. That is my true, absolute, true belief, that the only answer to war is a superior intelligence, a superior spiritual, radically advanced intelligence that understands how to fix things here, because we can't. That's it. We won't and we can't. Unfortunately, as far as I can see, that is the truth. We won't and we can't. We will fucking stumble on until we destroy this fucking world. None of the remedies. Right now, everything should be remedial action against climate change and pollution. Pollution is the other really not that talked about, the forever chemicals that we're flooding the planet with. Finding plastics, you know what I mean, in like some of the highest mountains in the world is fucking plastic and shit. It's horrifying. It really is. There's no way we're going to be able to control ourselves and make ourselves stop doing what we're doing. You know that. I know that. We need either exceptional leaders, which, Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un. We need some of the greatest men and the greatest minds in the world to lead us, and they want nothing to do with fucking politics, because they understand that is one of the 8 arms of war. Politicians, the military loves to go to war. That's what they train for. That's what they're meant to do. And they're always number one on the fucking gas pedal for war, okay? And it's just what they do. Why not? If they weren't ready every single fucking day, then they wouldn't be much use, would they? So it's like the hammer's cocked all the time, all over the world. But the real reason, Ukraine and Russia, that's the whole world knows that is a war of Putin. See? And that's why the economies are still clicking along and no one's really fucking freaking out. Not like when Saddam Hussein took Kuwait. Now you're talking about controlling oil. A totally different situation. The whole fucking world got together and started going there and fighting, not just sending weapons. War is real simple to understand. The reasons are really simple to understand, and that is the fucked up part about it. It really is. I just had to talk about it today because when I watch it, being a 71, 50 years at least of studying war and its dynamics and what goes on and why it went on. Not the fucking public shit you get in the newspaper, but deep research into the who, what, when, where, and why. And it's always fucking tragic. It's material. It's economic, you know what I mean, kind of a thing. Or it's ego-driven. Politics. Those are kind of the two twins, you know. And right now, that's what we're seeing. 200,000 Russians. Now, see, I'm like, okay, well, I understand war. I'm like, okay, just kill them as fast as you can and make them fucking go away. Because that's the only way you're going to end it. That's the only way you're going to spare Ukrainian lives and more civilian lives is just get it the fucking done, okay? Don't piss around. Don't pull a Vietnam, okay? Let the generals be generals. Go in and blow the fucking shit out of the enemy and get your goals accomplished. And in the meantime, Putin, when he fucking kicks off, all the oligarchs and everyone is going to get a new guy in office that's not going to be afraid to go, okay, well, we're not Vladimir Putin. And they're going to pull their fucking troops back. There's going to be some kind of a agreement about leaving Crimea or not leaving Crimea, you know what I mean, for the population. Boom, done deal. But we need to send ATACMS and everything else that we can send them. The whole world does, okay? And just fucking smoke the Russian forces and get it over with. That's what we need to do. The rest of the world's with us. They all know. I mean, only the Russian people really think. See, and I'm not saying go blow the fuck out of Russia, which they could. If the Ukrainians wanted to, they could make life much harder for the everyday Russians. They don't have to attack Moscow. They could blow the fuck out of places that are much closer that are Russian. They're not. You see, the Ukrainians have the moral law on their side. When I started talking about this war, 2 years ago, when they were stacked up on the border, that Putin couldn't afford 1,000 ounces of silver a day. He just couldn't. And he didn't have the moral law on his side. Now we're seeing it all play out that way. He's fucking broke. The ruble is fucking falling, crashing. You know what I mean? It needs a parachute. He can't afford it. I don't care who gives him how many fucking artillery shells. He can't afford it. So therefore, we need to give Ukraine all the assistance it needs to go in and take care of business. And that's what war is about. All the years that I've looked at it, the way to handle war is to fucking win as fast as possible. Get your goals accomplished as fast as possible. Go in and destroy the enemy. Boom, done deal. That is how you save children. That's how you save grandma and grandpa. That's how you save the innocents who didn't start the shit and just wanted to be happy and be left alone. Tragic. It really is tragic. I hope, I do hope beyond hope that one day real contact will be made. And you see, that contact will be of a type where it's not going to be Washington, like the original day the earth stood still. No, I need to talk to everybody. I am not going to just talk to you or you. And then the guy goes to the president and he comes back and says that here's all these, letters, these correspondence he's got that says, we can't do it unless we do it here. And the Chinese say we can't do it unless we do it here. And just the political bullshit, right? It wasn't the everyday average guy, everyday average woman. It wasn't. It was fucking politics, the other arm of war. They don't want peace. They'd be out of a job. See, this is why I need to talk about it, because the solutions are so spiritual and easy, and the ugliness of what's actually going to happen is animalistic and evil. The exact opposite. And why it's so hard to overcome and to stop, to put the fucking brakes on a system that the road was built, but there's no off-ramps. They didn't build any off-ramps so that later, sometime in history, we could change the way we do economics without destroying the whole fucking planet. But they didn't do that. And now we're all barreling down this fucking road. No off-ramp over here to change things, to save our planet. No, it's faster and faster and faster. And the bullshit that's piling up in front of this wave of fucking disaster, okay, is just getting thicker and taller and thicker and taller. People don't talk about what is coming, which is what I used to talk about in 2017 when I talked about methane and that people have no fucking idea. They think it's hot now, okay? What happens when it's 160 degrees in places right now where it's 130? What happens when it's 30 degrees warmer, when all the fucking ice melts? What happens when all the ice melts? Well, that could be what my great granddaughter, that's what her family will contend with. Right here, this property that we have is above the water line. There will be a bay down here, a saltwater inland sea. It will have a tide that'll come in and out every day, and it'll be brackish water from the northern end. If this doesn't all, become arid land. And I've always said that's going to be your guys' meal ticket. And long before that, someone's going to come and try to buy this property. There's going to be a band of property around the planet, not too high, not too low. It'll be altitude will determine the value of real estate. It's coming. There's nothing we can do about it. It's fucking coming. And see, I could elucidate on it all fucking day long. What's going to happen, where it's going to happen, and how bad it's going to be and why. And have a YouTube page like everyone else. But it wouldn't do any good. It wouldn't. I just want people to understand, if you feel like this, you're not alone. If you get up in the morning and you're like, holy fuck, you are sane, okay? That you're okay. And that everybody's important. Everyone is supposed to fulfill their timeline. Why that is so important? There are things they said I can't remember. I live my life as much as I can now by just trying to help people, to try to be not just me, but if anyone needs some help, I'm glad to be there for you. Now, I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what culture you came from. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care anything, okay? If you need my help and you ask me, I'd be more than happy to help you. And if everybody felt that way, the world would fucking change tomorrow. I guess that is the only answer, huh?